Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nobody Asked Me Guys show. Guys, I'm your host, Melvin Casey Lars, and this evening we have with us a dynamic guest, and none other than Ms. Maxine Frazier. And right now, guys, as we all know how technology is, we're having a little trouble with our camera. However, that's not going to stop anything that we're doing, and we're moving forward. Now, you guys know on last week we did a short commentary about mothers, and we shared with you that the entire month of February is going to be talking about our mothers. And as you know, based from the book, Mothers in Their Spin, an introspective look at mothers rearing sons, but we're talking about mothers, period. Mothers and their sons, mothers and their daughters, etc. Is that we know that people, the world in general, many times inadvertently or blame the mom for things that doesn't go right in children's lives, and we already know that's not true. So we want to give our mothers a platform just to talk about what moms are, what they feel the importance of moms are, and we know that they love their children, etc. So please understand that tonight, you comment over here in our comment box. If you have any questions for Ms. Frazier or myself, feel free to ask those questions. Now, we're going to, again, introduce Ms. Maxine Frazier. She's the mother of 3 beautiful adult children. I don't know the number of grandchildren. She can share that with you. But we'd like you to welcome Ms. Maxine Frazier. Ms. Frazier, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir? Good evening.
Well, listen, we are just great, and we're so happy that you're here. And as you heard me introduce you to our guest, is that we're talking about our moms, and we know that moms are special, and we do not let the world, Ms. Frazier, get away with trying to blame the moms when things do not go right for our children, because ironically, when things go well, everybody want to take the credit. Everybody say, oh, well, there was a dad in the house, or he had a mentor, or she had a mentor. Everybody want to give everybody credit except the mom. But
that's true.
On the Nobody Asked Me Guys show, we are not going to allow that narrative to float. So, Ms. Frazier, now with those 3 beautiful children, how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 6 grand and 1
and how many great grands?
One
All
great
right.
grand, and he's about 5 months old.
All right.
It's a boy, and it's a boy.
Fantastic.
So yes.
Now, Ms. Frazier, if you will, if you would just tell us in your own words, what do you feel like a mom is? Now, I know, you may say, who doesn't know that? But we just want you to tell our audience in your own words. As a mom, 3 beautiful children, 6 grandchildren, 1 great grand. What do you feel like a mom is, or a mom's responsibility?
Caring for her family, her kids, her family, taking care of them, making sure that they're get their education, bring them up in a good, safe home. And like you said, a lot of times people don't give credits to mom, but I know that for me, what I did with my son, brought him up in church and just did it all, did the best I could, working 2 jobs, trying to make sure that they were secure. And everything he wanted to do, he wanted to play football. I went to several schools, taking him here and there. When they get kicked out of one school, I'll take him to another school. Make sure he wanted, if he wanted to play football, make sure I got his suits and the things that he needed. So yes. I'm his protector. I was his protector, his overseer, and all.
Fantastic. Which brings us to the understanding as we start the show off with this preference that's about people talking about he or she comes from a single parent home. And allow me to say, Ms. Frazier, is that
Mm-hmm.
again, as I said, the Nobody Asked Me Guy show will not let people get away with that, because to me, that's saying you are saying that, well, the mother couldn't do her job, and we disagree with that wholeheartedly. So I just want you to know that on our show, when we hear things like that, we know, of course, that's not a good narrative. And also allow me to say, we feel very strongly that it's politically driven, because people have a tendency, when they make that statement, if the police do something to our sons or daughters, or if something bad happens to them, the first thing that comes out of government and law enforcement mouth is that, oh, he comes from a single parent home. So
Thank you.
but then, go ahead.
No, that is so true, and I'm so glad that you're saying that, because I hear that a lot. Oh, I mean, when they find out that you're single, you know, that don't mean anything, because I know what I've done, and it wasn't my fault. The reason he went to jail or did whatever he did, and he often told me that, as he got older, it was not my fault, because I worked 2 jobs trying to make sure that he had everything he needed.
Yes, yes, and this craziness, women can't raise boys. you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yes. I think I did. I think I did a good job with him. That was him on his own, wanted to go and do other things, but I think he learned his lesson. No.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, and of course we know that's a myth. I mean, February is deemed Black History Month, and dare I say, I go on record, Ms. Frazier, is to say that that's just another way of oppressing people of color,
Yeah.
because sadly, we know a lot of our men have been incarcerated for no reason, or they are giving sentences that are far beyond the reach of what they should be, etc. And then they
Mm-hmm.
have the nerve to say women can't raise boys, because they being the system,
Right.
decide to mistreat our men and mistreat our boys. And then again, they try to lay the blame at the feet of our mothers.
Right.
But we're not going to allow that to happen on our watch. So we're going to keep it. Now, Ms. Frazier, when you encounter sometime young mothers, and they are not being great mothers, in your estimation,
Oh,
do you have any advice for them?
oh, yes, sure. I do. A lot. Well, I really do. I mean, I see that all the time. Um, the parents, the mother is putting their boyfriends in front of the children, feed them good and all that. And I can't stand that. I hate that. And I just think that mother should, you know, be the cover, like I say, for their child. Take care of that child. Make sure they go to school clean, neat, and fed. And there's a lot of things going on in the community now, and they don't. They just send them up to school. They don't make sure that they're, clean. I hate to see a young mother with their child hair not combed. There's no excuse now. I mean, in my days, it was we had to, get a whole lot of things. It was a lot more. But now you could go to the dollar store, Dollar Tree, dollar this, and you could get everything for your kids, even clothes, to make them look presentable going to school and smelling good. So I just think a
Absolutely.
young mother should take time out with their child. That's one thing that really make me angry when they go to school looking any kind of way. I don't like that, or hungry. Hmm.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Sadly, we see that far too often, Ms. Frazier, is when
Hmm.
our young mothers allow, if we can even call them a boyfriend, for
Right.
that matter, when
That's
our
right.
young mothers allow the boyfriend to take precedent over her children, and have a better time, quite frankly, surviving than an innocent
Mhm.
child.
That's so
Listen,
true.
let's switch back a little bit and ask, what are your proudest moments as a mom? Your proudest
Okay.
moments.
Okay. My proudest moment as a mom to have 3 children. And I love my children, and my two girls who have really been a very good, made good success out of life, and I really appreciate that. My proudest moment was when my daughter walked across the stage to be a nurse, and because she was always thinking that she couldn't do it. When she found out that, oh, you can do it, because I was pushing them, let them know you can do it. You can do all things through Christ, and I pushed them and let them know that you can do it, and this, it could be yours. You could own this. You could own just whatever the anyone else have, you know. So my daughters, both of my daughters got a chance to see that in life, and I'm just so happy with the way they are living their life. And I'm just depending and waiting on my son to get out to be something, because I know at this time he stayed 31 years in jail, and it was really too long for the crime he did. But you know, he's getting out next week, and I'm just want him to get out, you know, make me proud. Like, look around and see what your sisters have done, and I'm going to do the same thing.
Well, Miss Frazier, I have to ask you this question. 31 years. Did he rob a bank?
No,
Did he
he
murder
did not.
anyone?
No, he did.
So
He
this
did
young
not
man
do
spent
that.
31 years of his life
Yes,
basically for doing a petty crime.
petty.
He
That's right,
didn't
petty.
murder.
No,
He didn't rob a bank. He
no,
didn't
he didn't.
extort somebody. He didn't extort money from these very wealthy people like a Bernie Madoff or some of
No,
these guys. He just
no.
did petty street crimes, snatching chains or things of that
Right,
nature. And he spent
right.
31 years.
One. Yes,
My
sir.
God.
31. 31.
My
Yes.
God.
And even
My
now,
God.
with the system, the way the system is now, on December the 11th, I think that's when they released him. But here it
Yes.
is, February the 7th, and he's not out yet, because we're getting his papers ready.
Ms. Frazier, actually, there was just something on the national news about that. As a matter of fact, Louisiana, our state, is in
Mm-hmm.
big trouble, if you can call it trouble right now, because they are notorious
Mm-hmm.
for once inmates have been released. They are notorious for holding them 2, 3, 6 months longer
Wow.
after
Wow.
they've been released. And this was talked about on a federal level less
Oh,
less than 30 days ago.
oh, wow.
So let's hope that that's not the case with your son. Now, I was
Really?
going to ask you, what are your biggest fears, but we've already discussed obviously some of the fears
Mm-hmm.
with your son having to be incarcerated that long. He didn't murder anyone. He didn't rob any banks. He didn't commit any federal crimes.
No, 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 none of
My
that.
God.
None of that. There's not tennis shoes and a little $100 necklace, So,
Yes.
but I
A
know
hundred
that
dollar
I've
necklace
always
that
heard.
probably would turn your neck green.
Yes, yes, you're right. So true.
And some that wow.
But
Wow.
I know it's in Louisiana that we have problems like that. They just, and I'm sad over it. But that's the way it is, here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm.
Now, as a mom, as a mom, are there, and speaking of being in Louisiana, are there any support groups that you are aware of or that have reached out to you or anything of that nature?
Yes, there is, and that's one, and I'm very proud of them. And they have really reached out to me and to him, and they're going to, in other words, make sure he's back on his, doing good on his foot. They're gonna make sure he's back up with a job,
Yes.
educational, and they're not just gonna, throw him in there and give him food stamps. It's things that he have to do, and I'm very proud of that, because they're gonna make a man out of it, giving him a job, and let him go. Of course, been in jail for 31 years, he's gonna have to have well, a little, get
A
to
little
know.
indoctrination to get back
Yes,
in the groove of
yes,
being, quote, on the outside, unquote.
yes, sir. That's right. That is so
Yes.
true. And
Now,
and I'm very pleased with that. They've let me know they're gonna, about that time, should be about 6 months, and when he get out of that, he would have his own place.
wonderful,
So they're gonna help him for 6 months.
wonderful, wonderful.
hmm hmm
Now, Ms. Frazier, we've talked about the great work that you've done with your children, but we didn't discuss that you are a businesswoman yourself. Now, I mean, obviously, people talk about a single parent home and that kind of thing, and
hmm
we didn't talk about uh, what you do and the business that you have and how you help to employ and help other people. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. I could also talk back when I didn't have a business, when I was raising my children, bringing them up, like I said, working 2 jobs and trying to make sure they had this and that. And I was also working in a home cleaning. And with that little money, it just wasn't enough to, take care of me and my kids. And I know my kids wanted better. So in that home, God, I feel like the Lord had me there for a reason, because I got a chance to know a lot of people, get, get acquainted with a lot of people. And when I did that, God blessed me to venture out to get my own business. And those people that I met there in that home, and some of the people are still calling me today to take care of the mother, the sister, the brother, and now I'm even taking care of them. I am actually at the place where I started from, taking care of those people that I worked for them for 30 years, 30 years in that home. And now I'm back there taking care of them in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Yes. hmm
That,
So
that is impressive.
I'm happy. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, at that time it might have been 300 a week. Now, I can make that a day, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
That is that is impressive, Ms. Fraser. Because see, that's the narrative that unfortunately people don't want to share. People
hmm
being
hmm
the federal government, people being the crooked politicians that
hmm
want to malign our moms and talk about kids being in single parent homes and all they want to do is get welfare and food stamps. They
No,
never want
no.
to talk about the Maxine Fraziers of the world. And I
That's
know,
right.
I know
Yes.
that knowing the Maxine Fraziers that I know have
hmm
always hustled and
Yes.
worked hard and taken
Yes.
care of her children, etc. But see, your
That's
story
true.
never gets told.
Right. That is so true. And then they'll get a lot of help with that, because you got to be. I've not saw this in Shreveport, Louisiana. I mean, I'm working, got a job, got to have a car to go to work, but they don't want you. If they give you a system, they don't want you to have a car. They can't tell you can't have a car in a system too. So they want you to continue to be on that bus, doing this and doing that. But God blessed me with a car, and I just kept working because I didn't say, well, if I can't get this assistant, I just have to work. But then I see this young lady who just had a baby. I mean, getting all the system, paying $1 for rent, and get mad if they have to pay any more, paying $1 for rent. But here I am,
Wow,
hard working all my life, and working since I was 16.
wow.
And older now, and can't get that. And I'm saying now I can't get that, like I'm supposed to, because I'm still working at 72. I am still working at 72, and it's very hard for you to live on the little money they give you a month. You know that. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
we are still dealing with the hypocrisy of the system, and people, whether they want to admit it or not, primarily people that's not, since we have been known to be colored, since we
Mm-hmm.
are now identifying ourselves, are now identifying ourselves as black, people of
mm-hmm.
non-color try to pretend as if they don't understand this, and that none of this is happening, and that you have to be extremely poverty stricken to get any assistance at all. I mean, come on, if you get government, and you're sharing with us that to even receive at one point some government assistance, then you were restricted from even being able to have an automobile. You were forced to use public transportation.
That is so
Wow.
true. So true. And then, kids were small. Here I am with 3 of them trying to go to Bossier, to take them to Bossier to my family for them to keep them. I've done that. I've done all that.
Yes.
Struggle. But I thank God, that today things have gotten better for me.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
And, February, as we well know, is designated as Black History Month. However, when we talk to the Maxine Fraziers of the world, and when we hear all of this craziness about moms, and that's why we wanted to title this show today, does the world expect moms to be miracle workers? And Maxine Frazier is sharing with us that the world does indeed expect moms to be miracle workers.
Right. That is so true. It is so true.
With very little assistance. And those same people that are making these decisions, and I'll say this to you, Ms. Frazier, I have always taken issue with what I call fat cat politicians and law enforcement and all of that stuff sitting up talking about people trying to live off of the government. Who do they think paying their checks?
That is so true. True.
The government, and you, because we are part of the government, because we are taxed. We have to pay income taxes. So those same people that are trying to say to Maxine Frazier that if you get any of our assistance, you have to, you can't
not have anything, not
have anything.
Right.
You can't live off the government, yet they are living off the government and living off the government quite well, I might add.
Right. That is so true. So true.
Wow.
So true.
What hypocrisy. What hypocrisy.
Really, it is.
Well, Ms. Frazier, I've had you here for a while, and you've been great. It's been great. Do you have any parting words for us?
Oh, well, I'm just thankful. Thank you for what you're doing, and and that could help people. Be helping. That's what I'm about. Helping and showing people, the light. Because we've been in the dark for so long. So I'm just so glad that you're out and helping and talking about the mothers and the struggle that mothers have, and for yourself, I mean, well, you're somebody, and I've always looked it up to you, even though you're my you're younger than I am, in other words, but I've always looked it up to you because like you was like the first one graduated and went to school, and I was always proud and just looked up to you, and I'm glad what you're doing today because that could help some mothers.
But Ms. Frazier, guess what? Guess what, Ms. Frazier? I've always looked up to you, darling, because there are so many other things, Ms. Frazier, that you could have been doing that were negative. There's so many times and so many things that transpire in people's lives where they do not take care of their children, they give away their children, they abandon their children, things of that nature. And you, Miss Frazier, is somebody. You are very special somebody.
Thank you, sir.
You're a very special somebody. Your 3 children are blessed to have you as their mother. Your 6 grandchildren are blessed to have you as their grandmother. And dare I say, your great grandbaby is blessed to have you as his, it is a he, isn't it? As it is she.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, as his great grandmother. So please know and understand that God has no respect of person. And we that call ourselves Christians, we seem to forget that sometimes, is that God has no respect of person, whether you have $1 million or whether you have $1. People talk about millionaires, so whether you are a dollar heir or a thousandaire, God has no respecter of person.
Amen. That is so true. I like that. I like
And
that.
it's been indeed a pleasure to have you here. And I want our audience to know I'm proud to call Miss Frazier my cousin.
Praise the Lord. Thank you.
We have the same blood running in
Yeah.
our veins. She's a
Yeah.
great person. She's a fantastic person, has a beautiful heart, beautiful soul, and I'm
Thank
just
you.
so proud to know her.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so glad to have you in my life also.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure. And we do want to let our guests know is that our viewers, I'm sorry, I'm called, well, they are guests, but our viewers know
Yeah.
that each Tuesday, 5 p.m., we'll be returning to the set. Now, next week, we're going to be talking to our mothers again. Hopefully, Ms. Frazier will join us again. But next week, we're going to be talking about what do we want out of life as mothers. Nobody ever asks our mothers what they want out of life. We just want mothers to be there for us. So
Yeah. That's
next
so
week we
true.
want our mothers to come and tell us what they want out of life.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So again, join us next week, next Tuesday, February 14th, 5 o'clock p.m. at the Nobody Asked Me Guy show. And again, we thank our guests for being here tonight in the person of Ms. Maxine Frazier. And we thank our viewers for being here. And we appreciate you guys coming back every week to support us. And we also we have some new viewers. We want our new viewers to go to our YouTube site, the Nobody Asked Me Guy show, and subscribe to our show, and encourage your friends to subscribe, and encourage your friends to come back and watch it. So we want to bid everybody a good night. Ms. Frazier, we certainly appreciate you, and we thank you for being here with us tonight.
And thank you for having me.